I think black people are not irredeemable, but there just needs to be brutal honesty. It's like, look, these black people are really struggling and they're turning into these maniacs. It seems like they don't do anything right. They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel. And, look, nobody hates black people for being black. If there are people like that, I think that's exceedingly rare. And I don't consider myself one of them. The reason that people have negative attitudes about black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative. Most people's interactions with black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder. And you say, what the fuck? You're not supposed to do that. If everybody did that, it would just be another lane. And, not everybody can do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society. Like that's their interaction is they are a waiter and they wait on a black table and the black people don't tip and they're fucking rude. Like that's most people's interactions. It's stuff like that. They go to the DMV and they see a black person behind the counter and they say, oh, here we go. And the person's rude. Now, it just goes to show people are not racist. It goes to show people don't like people that are rude. That people don't, it's unpleasant. People want to be treated with consideration and respect. And it is true that black people are, in this day and age, unfortunately, seem to have very low moral character. It's not even just the violence, although the violence is pretty striking. If you live your life and you know that you're going to be mugged by black people, it kind of colors your opinion or perception of black people, wouldn't you say? If 99% of the carjackings and stabbings and shootings that you see in Chicago are by black people, when you're walking down the street late at night, guess what you're looking for? Black people. And you equate that with danger. And it doesn't take a lot of them to spoil the whole bunch like that. And we just want black people to take accountability and say, look, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. It just seems that every time I encounter you people, for the most part, it's negative. And sometimes extremely negative, like I could get a gun in my face. That's a problem. And people go, well, you are just loaded up with hatred and racism. It's like, I'm really not. I'm a really friendly person. I'm a really polite, friendly person. I give everybody a chance. But if I'm someplace and I see some black person walking in with their pants sagging and they can't articulate what their problem is or what they need, and they're rude and they're aggressive and I'm in fear for my life, like, yeah, I have a problem with all of that. And people go, and these black people go, well, you're right. Super well behaved, we would be racist in the other direction. We'd say, black people, oh yes, dude, yes. My day is about to turn around for the better. What can I help you with, sir? Please come right on in. Man, what a relief to see you here. You're a sight for sore eyes. If black people were known for being the best, then we would be racist in the other direction. Oh, finally. So yeah, that really bothers me. It just bothers me in this damn ass city, because that's all it is in Chicago, is just these black people who can never take accountability. It's always somebody else's fault.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Developing Dad podcast. We are live, had some technical difficulties. I'm not going to tell you what the solution was because it was absolutely simple, as it always is. Now, welcome to everybody. All right, so we're going to talk about a bunch of topics, but I figured I would open things up with old Nick Fuentes, right? And this is making the rounds on social media. Hello. Let me say hello to everybody. Origami, welcome. Cold, welcome. Anthony Cristiano, welcome from Virginia. All right, my brother lives in Virginia. Speaking of which, I don't even know if it's still available. Hold on one second. My brother asked me to do this, and I have to say, he said he told me. Hold on one second. He asked me this earlier this week. Hold on one second. I have to send this to you guys. Where is it? There it is. It's right here. All right. So he sent this link out to a bunch of the men in the family, asking us to vote for him for this comedy special thing. All right. My brother's a comedian. He's a funny. What's going on, brother Derek of Franklin? Hello, Newman 2010. All right. So watch this. I'm going to send this link to my phone, and then I'm going to send it to you all. Actually, I'll probably, because he sent me directly to the one, not to his specific page. I'm going to send you to his specific page. Okay. And he wants y'all to vote for him. All right. He's in a comedy competition, And he said, this is what he said. He said he's a comedian. So just take this this is him being funny. He said, tell all your racist and Uncle Tom followers to vote for me too. And you laughed, right? And he was laughing, right? So if y'all could go and vote for my brother, his thing. What's up? What's going on? Edge of the South, welcome. Right? The link's in the description. He's already winning. Now he's messing around and my followers might actually, oh wait, it's already over. So you can't vote. But he won. He was up 91% to 9%. So he already won. So, but I told him I would do it the next time I went live like this, and I didn't. And I didn't go in time. Anyway, but Nick Fuentes, y'all. So Nick says that he has poor now, we also have to listen to what Nick is saying. He mentioned multiple times in there Chicago, right? This is him talking about his interactions in Chicago. And Chicago is well known to be a city that has a very dangerous black population. Now, lots of majority black cities have the same reputation, right? Memphis, New Orleans, Detroit, Baltimore, DC, Oakland, go down the line. And Nick is a controversial figure, right? We there's no doubt about that. But he's specifically talking about his experience with black people. Now, when he mentions the things that he mentions, do they hurt my feelings? Do I get angry as a black man? No, because he's not talking about me. So I don't get offended. I've learned, so I'm almost 50. I've learned in my 40 plus years, almost 50 years on this earth, that if someone said something about you that's either not true or it's something that you don't really care, it could be true, but it's not something that concerns you, then why am I going to be up in what's going on with this? I've been having problems with Ecamm, guys. It's giving me the blues. We're going to talk about a lot of different things tonight, but this is specifically an interesting topic to me because it comes on the heels of all of these other things that have been happening and giving people what has been termed as black fatigue. The Austin Metcalf, well, we can go even further back to the Trayvon Martin, to Michael Brown, to whatever it is, the lies that have been spewed and propagated about these interactions with police officers and or citizens or whoever. It really, this is the thing that most people are getting frustrated by. If there's so much racism out there, why do we need to drum up fake cases of it? In the 60s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, nobody had to drum up fake cases of racism because it was there in the open, out in front. Now we have this boogeyman of systemic racism and white supremacy that helps us to see racism behind every interaction with white people. So anything that happens between a black person and a white person, a black person could be an absolute jerk to you, completely disrespect you. If you say anything, then you become guilty of racism. or the mere fact that you exist as a white person is grounds for a black person to treat you poorly and to disrespect you, because you are by nature guilty of a sin that can never be forgiven, an unforgivable sin, right? And so the unforgivable sin is just being born white anywhere on this planet. And that's a dangerous, that's an othering that has extremely harmful consequences. Let's look at this one, right? So we're talking about the Cincinnati situation, and let me do this. I'm having problems with my, all right. Okay, let me do this. Oh, sorry. All right, so we are, whoops, look at that. Now I'm making all kinds of problems. Here we go. Let's go back to there you go. All right, so we've got this situation here with the young mom who was beaten,
the judges who are just letting people out with a slap.
In the Cincinnati brawl.
We do need more accountability. The judges who are just letting people out with a slap. The man who attacked me and might have permanently damaged me forever should never have been on the streets. In Toledo, in Columbus, Cincinnati, Dayton, our streets are being taken over and nobody is doing anything. I am so sad, and I need to be the voice to help all of the victims that never got their justice. We do need more accountability.
And so what's been happening, this is the woman that you saw on the ground, knocked out by a man. And the man that knocked her out, we've come to find out that he should have never been on the streets. So this is the Vigilant Fox's account. Cincinnati woman Holly speaks out after savage street beating by marauding thugs. Our streets are being taken over and nobody is doing anything. She is broken. This is absolutely gut-wrenching. Covered in bruises and still visibly shaken, Holly just went public after being savagely attacked in downtown Cincinnati. The judges aren't doing their jobs. There's been a systematic erosion of public trust in the police department, in the judicial system. They're allowing criminals to walk free, giving them slaps on the wrist. When you subsidize lawlessness, you get more lawlessness. When you turn a blind eye and you will not punish criminals according to their deeds, you get more criminality. Matt Walsh had a very good saying. I'm going to paraphrase it. But the idea is, while you're being compassionate to criminals, you are being cruel to victims. What did this woman do to deserve to be in this situation? They were stomping that man. They were essentially trying to end his life, the man who she was trying to defend, and then a man knocks her out. Where do we draw the line? That's the issue. Where do we draw the line as citizens who want to see justice done? Where do we draw the line as contributing members of society when our elected officials and selected officials have openly declared war on us by allowing the criminal element to walk among us with little to no threat of justice? The bail that was set for the men and women in this altercation, beat down, minuscule compared to their charges. compared to what we saw on the video. This wasn't a fight. This was a beatdown, an attempt. You could make the case that one of the victims, they tried to end his life. You could bring up attempted murder charges on some of these men. They were trying to end his life. So when do we say, again, enough is enough? You've been elected to protect. The one thing that these people have been elected to do is to protect the citizens of the United States, both locally, the state level, and at a federal level. We protect our borders. We protect those businesses and homes of people who are trying to do the right thing. Yeah, exactly, brother. My brother Edwin Ramirez. Man, we got to get together. You got to come on the show at one point in time. We got to get you on the show. Yeah, we got to get you on the show, brother. It's been a while. We need to chop it up. We got to get you on the show. All right. But there is no. Oh, come on. Is this thing really? Did it really just disconnect? I am having so much trouble with my computer right now. It's one of the frustrating things about this recent week with this computer. All right, but let's listen in. She's going to give us a little bit more information. We're going to talk about this Cincinnati brawl and how what Nick is talking about actually is in line with what this woman experienced. All right, don't forget to like the video on the way in.
What was happening in that moment that you decided as a woman to jump into this situation?
Well, everyone was standing around recording and egging it on and, like cheering to them. And I kept waiting for the police to show up and waiting and terrified, And when I realized the police weren't going to come, I could hear someone, the man that I jumped in front of, literally crying to God, please God, somebody save me, somebody help me. It was the third time he had been knocked down and kicked in his face over and over. Somebody had told me 57 times. They had counted through all the videos. And I knew that if I didn't jump in, if he had fallen down one more time, he would not have made it out alive.
Did you know him, Holly? I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you know him?
No, I had just met him that night, just a few hours before. He came to the birthday party, and that's how I met him.
So you decided to jump in someone you just had met. I mean, most people, frankly, wouldn't do that. And over how long of a period of time did this transpire? Was this seconds, minutes?
No, I want to say at least a solid 15, 20 minutes this was going on. I mean, the videos that you see are little short blurps, but this was going on for so long, it was ridiculous. And it was like one crowd would come in and start beating on them, and then another crowd would come in and take their turn. So it wasn't going to stop. It's not like one crowd came in and had their fun kicking them, then there would be more that would come join in.
15 to 20 minutes. 57 blows to the head. Right? 57 blows to the head. She's saying the entire interaction between the group and that guy was about 15 to 20 minutes long. You're seeing some very short clips she mentions. Now, there are people who just exactly. That's exactly how they're behaving. And so when someone like Nick Fuentes comes on to his show and says the things that he says, this is what he's talking about. He sees this same video. There are aggregators out there that compile the clips of ratchet behavior. I know. It really is. It's one of the reasons why I'm trying to make sure that I and my family are the exact opposite of everything that is being promoted in the culture to be black. Because I don't want to be associated or contaminated by that mindset. So we're going the other way. Whatever it means to go the other way. If they're searching for, if the vast majority of black people are either complicit, guilty of these type of actions, or turning a blind eye to it, well, then I'm going to speak up about it, and I'm not going to be anything like what those people are. Right? And people think that that's some sort of negative. I don't care. There's on no version of God's green earth that the type of behavior that's being exhibited by the men in that video and the women in that video is to be condoned, affirmed, or excused. No way. There's absolutely no way. And anybody in here that's making excuses for it and trying to say that there's somehow that it's somehow a negative mark on me, that I don't want to be like them. These people,
You're dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
It's insane that you have lost all moral objectivity, that you think that in any way, shape, or form that behaving like those men is anything but animalistic and shows a complete lack of self-control, of fortitude, of godliness, whatever virtue you want to espouse, right? There's absolutely no way that you can excuse that. All they're going to do is deflect to some other topic. They can't excuse that. They can't excuse that. Exactly. My stepdad, black man, used to tell me there's a difference between black people and ninjas. Exactly. Look, I didn't understand him when I was a kid. I came to understand him later in life. Absolutely. But that is a common, your stepdad, that is a common theme amongst older black people. Now, this generation, my generation and below, I don't know if they still talk like that. But I know growing up that black people were extremely disappointed in people who took the path that these men have taken. Criminality, complete rejection of the true, the beautiful, and the good. Let's say getting married, having kids, raising your children, working a job, being a man of substance and integrity. These things were held in high esteem in the black community where I grew up, when I was growing up. Now, they want you to be as hood and as ninja adjacent as possible, or you're not authentically black. Well, Martin Luther King must not have been authentically black. Malcolm X must not have been authentically black. Because they weren't into criminality. Men like Bill Cosby, say what you want about his whatever exploitation, but his exploits. Sidney Poitier. Just go down the list of black men who weren't hood, who weren't ratchet, who rose to prominence and fame, but they are older men who were born prior to my generation. This generation is absolutely cooked. But your stepdad probably is around the same age as my dad currently. And all these fools in the black community can do, all they can do now is call you names for trying to be like your forefathers, your ancestors, men who actually were upstanding, who faced down real racism and won. Not this pansy, effeminate.
Why are you gay?
That version of racism, that these people that look for everything soft and effeminate, and they're like, oh, it don't make me feel good, so it must be racism. How about you be a man like our ancestors and forefathers, you don't even understand what real racism is. You didn't have to experience Jim Crow. You didn't experience people being able to call you boy, send you to the back of the bus, not allow you to eat in their establishment. You don't have any of those problems. Most of your problems are self-inflicted. You're your biggest enemy. Absolute biggest enemy. You're a failure because you are a failure. You have failing habits. You're poor because you have poor habits. You're losing because you have loser habits. What's going on, brother Derek Franklin? What the black folks who assaulted the white man and women in Cincinnati feeds a negative black stereotype. It's unfortunate because most of us black folks see this for what it is. Ninjas acting out. Exactly. So Derek, our age range, right? I know you're in your 50s. I think you're close to 50, but I think we're around the same age. Our generation was raised by a group of men and a culture. It was on its last legs that understood the difference between behavior that built a community and the behavior that tore it down. These nonsensical fools, there you go, 55. All right. These nonsensical fools think that all of this infrastructure that was built by men of integrity, they get to profit from it, even though they're indigent. They think, oh, well, because I can make beats and I can do this and I can do that, I find it to be so laughable that they're searching for relevance, and the most relevant thing they could do, they regard it as anathema, essentially, if you want to talk about it in Christian terms. Raising a family, loving one woman, and creating a legacy. They will look at me. I have men in these comments, young men, young fools, whatever you want to call yourselves, with the nerve to talk to me as though we're on the same level. I'm married to one woman, raising 5 kids, doing what real men do, and you think that your opinion of me matters. All you can do is call names because you have no skins on the wall. See, the difference between you and me is that I don't look to this channel for validation. I don't get my validation from the internet. In real life, I get respect. So when you come here and you talk to me like we're on the same level,
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
I know that you're ridiculous. So I'm just going to, I gain respect. And here's the thing. When people disrespect me in real life, I have people that come to my defense and let those other people know, how are you going to disrespect this man? I just had a conversation 3 weeks ago with a brother in Christ who said, I told the people that disrespected you recently, my family just endured some disrespect at a church we were attending. And the man called me and said, I told the leaders of that church, how did you all let that guy get out of here? How did you let that guy who, and this is his words, he said, is the perfect example that our church needs of raising his family, of loving his wife, of how to succeed, how to be successful, how to put your hand to something and actually accomplish it. How did y'all let him get out of here? How did you let him walk away? How are you just allowing him to leave? This is the conversations that are being had behind my back. Now, there are people who do not like my family. There are people who really don't want to see us succeed. But when those people talk to people who have sense, those people say, are you out of your mind? Are you really going to let that family? Really? Okay. Now, when you come on here and you start talking about whatever you talk about and you try to come at me, I'm like, well, guys, I have respect in real life. At our former church, is our former church now. But I gain respect in real life. Wherever we go, at our new church, we've already gained respect for what we're doing. People recognize it and respect it. They also, at my jobs, at my all these other things. So why am I? So you guys don't seem to understand. I'm living the life that I talk about, right? So when you come on here and insult, it's in one ear and out the other, because I know that you don't know what you're talking about. And that type of life is what used to be expected, that getting back to the original point, amongst black men. It used to be the expectation in the 40s, the 50s, and 60s. Right? 70s also. I mean, it wasn't until about the 90s or the 2000s that, it wasn't about the 90s or 2000s that it started to be acceptable. Yeah, that's a great thing. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is what I've been told by multiple people. Y'all got to understand, that's why the videos that I post about Christianity is essentially telling you that most Christian churches aren't filled with Christians. So when you're actually walking out the Christian faith amongst people who aren't walking it out consistently and biblically, your light is going to shine, and darkness hates light. That's essentially that goes in every arena of life. Doesn't matter if it's a church. It doesn't matter. Because if a church has a bunch of people who aren't walking out the Christian faith and aren't being disciplined or instructed, and they're walking in sin, and you're not, they're going to look at you and think you're the problem. When you have adulterers sitting in the congregation comfortable, when you have fornicators sitting in the congregation comfortable, never being challenged for years and years and years, and you have leadership that's afraid to do what the Bible says, church things like discipline and instruct and call people out, then what happens? The Bible says a little leaven leavens the whole lump. People think that the Bible is a joke, even in Christian churches. That's one of the reasons why people, when they go into most of these churches, it's just a Christian social club, and they recognize it and they bounce if they're truly trying to follow Jesus. Oh, I absolutely do. I wish there were more. Yeah. Exactly. Striving to be godly has become something to be looked down on because some black folks excel at making a ministry out of their misery. Derek, you talking that talk now, brother. Look, as many times as we've heard the whole, we're broken. Like at some point, at what point are you going to believe that Christ's gospel heals? When are you going to walk in victory? This is the victory we have. This is the victory. 1 John says in 5:3, we've overcome the world. This is how we've overcome the world, our faith. So have you overcome the world, or is the world overcoming you? It's one of the reasons why I can't stand loser Christianity. It's one of the reasons why I don't like dispensationalism, because it's a loser theology. We lose down here. John MacArthur even said it. We lose down here in one of his sermons. Rest in peace, John MacArthur, but he was dead wrong about that. We lose down here. That's not what I see in the Bible. So I get sick of people talking about, oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Nah, I got to get away from people that I'm a victim. I'm a loser. I'm this. I'm that. I'm broken. I'm this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't read my Bible. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm like, okay. I don't know what Holy Spirit you got living in you, but I can't find time to do this. I can't find time to do that. And then your pastors ain't helping you because they don't know how to teach you how to do it. I was like, whatever. I did to get away from that kind of Christianity, because it would destroy my family. Because my family, we do this because it's life, and that's it. We got to do it. So that's why we don't rock with the Cincinnati brawl people. We don't rock with blackness and all these other things. We don't need all of this other stuff to animate our faith, and we got to have some kind of music to make us. It's like, nah, Jesus is worthy. Period. He's worthy. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's worthy. So I read the Bible. He's worthy. So I pray. He's worthy. So I memorize books of the Bible. He's worthy. So I call my family to do the same. We catechize them. My wife does the same thing when we wake up in the morning, because he's worthy. I don't play these games. Christianity is not a game. It's not just a faith to be believed. It's a religion to be practiced. And I got tired of dealing with evangelical churches where any and everybody could claim to be a Christian, but they can live however they want to live. I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of those people being affirmed and exalted and pushed into leadership positions. Right? Faith without works is dead. And I'm tired of being around a bunch of dead people. So, end of story. And then leadership that accepts dead people and doesn't push them. Like, why you not pushing anything? Why you not? Why you not? Because you're gonna be held to. And one thing, and my wife and I were talking about this. The one thing that you need in most evangelical churches today. This is the main. I know I'm on a soapbox right now. Y'all got to give me a minute. Give me a minute to be on my soapbox. Give me a minute. Soapbox. The one thing, the one qualification in evangelical churches today is that you're unqualified. They give you pastors that are unqualified. Can't teach you how to live the Christian life. Can't teach you how to practice anything. But they want you to listen to them for 45 minutes to an hour as they try to figure out theology and read commentaries that you can read and try to give you the gist of a commentary. I'm like, I can read a commentary. I don't need to listen to you try to tell me. I need you to teach me how to walk out Christianity. That's your job. Not to get flex your theological muscles every week. And try. And then realize 5 years later that you were teaching me something that was absolutely incorrect. That's why I never trusted my family's theology to men who I knew were incapable of logic, rhetoric, reason. I never trusted my theology. Never trusted any pastor that we've ever been under with the theology, with my family's theology. Never. I was like, I'm smarter than him. I'm not even, like, I'm finding logical fallacies in his sermons. I'm like, what? I'm not about to trust my family's theology to him because he's still figuring it out. 5 years later, he's going to be like, oh, I was wrong about that. But you sure were adamant about it when you were preaching from the pulpit. That's why I don't think men should be pastors until they're about 45, 50 years old. That's just me, though. Because the man who had the most developed theology that helped me the most was right around that age, around in his 50s. I'm on a soapbox a little bit right now. Y'all let me get some stuff off my chest. But it's just a bunch of unqualified men pretending that they're qualified and that they know more than they know. And then they all don't, none of them want to share power. If you find a man who wants to share power, then you found somebody that you could actually trust. Right? They're all little popes. But then they'll talk trash about the Roman Catholic Church. They're all little popes. Challenge them and find out. I made the mistake of challenging them multiple times. Learn quick that one, they can't defend themselves, and two, they don't like to be challenged. Because once they have to start answering, so then they're like, wait a minute, who are you to be questioning me? And so we get effeminate churches because we have men who don't want to share power with other men because they are intimidated by them. They become little popes, and it becomes a cult of personality. So whatever they want, they're going to get people around them that will not challenge them. That's going to go with their little narrative of what church should be like, while they have a bunch of people around them that are suffering, that can't read their Bible. I know of a young woman 2 weeks before she passed, still had been in the church for 2-3 years, still hadn't mastered the ability to get up and read her Bible every day. Went to the grave, still not being able to do that. But they had her serving. She was serving and stuff. Woo. Yeah, she was serving in a whole bunch of things. I shudder to think about the judgment that's coming for some of these unqualified pastors who are pretending that they know what they're talking about, but then the people that they're shepherding are being left unshepherded. Don't take on the responsibility if you ain't ready for the cost. If you're not ready, if you're not qualified for it, don't do it. You should be able to look at a man's family and say he shepherded those children. He's shepherding those children and his wife so well that we should consider him for ministry. It shouldn't be he's doing ministry at the expense of his family and making his wife do all the work at home of raising his children. That's the exact opposite of what the Bible says you should be looking for in an elder. It's, he's managing his household well. That's the kind of man we need. It's not about how the sermons are delivered. It's the content. Content is all I care about. Yeah, you can hoop and holler. You can be dry and bland, whatever. Whatever the cultural context calls for. I'm saying if you are, I'll give you a perfect example. I'm gonna give y'all an example. We're kind of going off script tonight. We're gonna give you this soapbox. Hold on. I'm just gonna change this to soapbox. All right. Give you a perfect example. This is a common, and this is an actual real world example. A real world example. I'm going to give y'all a little soapbox. All right. And this is something that I've heard in multiple sermons, right? Multiple sermons online, but also in person. Loving God and loving people sums up the gospel. Y'all, anybody see a problem with that? Derek said, what does that even mean? Now, I'm going to take you to 2 verses. Thank you. But I've heard, thank you. That is the greatest commandment. That is exactly, it's not. It sums up the law. But I've heard in person pastors make that mistake. Multiple scriptures could have helped you to avoid this. Multiple. Romans 13:10. Love does no wrong to its neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. Galatians 5:14. For the entire law is fulfilled in one command. Love your neighbor as yourself. Where is it? Where is it? It's not there. It's 19. Yeah. 16. Teacher, what must I do to gain eternal life? Why do you ask me what is good? There's only one good. One who is good. If you want to enter life, keep the commandments. Which ones? You should not murder. Blah. He tells them all. Like, come on, you know what they are. All these I have kept. If you want to be perfect, sell your possessions. But he's essentially telling them, yes, the law. Follow the law. Right? What's the greatest commandment? Right? I'm coming to that super chat. Give me a second. Okay. Well, we'll stop it right there. Right? But I've had to endure listening to this. I'm like, we can't do this. We can't do this. Yeah. We can't do this. Right? Icy Felix. Yes. Is the state of Israel the same as biblical Israel? No. Right? No. So if you're aware, now I'm a preterist. Now, if you're a futurist, there are two different streams of thought about thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Let's just go here because we got to talk about it. We're going to do this. I don't know why all of these are now on tertiary. I'll put them back on secondary anyway. Okay. So let's go back to Icy Felix's. So there are multiple streams of thought about this. Zionism is toxic. I'll just put that out there. It's a toxic theology. It's not a theology. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's a belief, but it's not a theology because, we can call it theology, whatever. It's an idea that is based on a future restoration of Jews right before the end. Ideology is a good one. Yes, thank you, Icy Felix. So it's an ideology that believes that there is a future hope still for the Jews, that they're going to be saved in mass, right? And it draws on Romans 11. Now, if you believe that Romans 11 is yet to be fulfilled, then you believe that the Jews need to come back to that land in order to be saved again. Well, maybe you don't have to believe that, but that could be a component of it, because you could believe that they would be saved in mass without a return to the homeland. There are people who believe that as well. And you should read a short history of Christian Zionism. I actually have that linked in my products. I'm not a futurist. I believe that, and I'm still studying whether or not all, but I believe that the majority, I'm to the point now where I can successfully say that, I can confidently say that I believe that God was successful in fulfilling all of the prophecies of the Old Testament by 70 AD. Okay? So I don't believe there is a future hope for the Jews. I believe that in Paul's future, there was going to be a restoration, a bringing together of Jews who would believe in the Messiah prior to 70 AD. That's what I believe. Hey, is that up there? Let me see something. Okay, it's not up there. Oh yeah, it actually is. Let me move this. There you go. All right, and make that a little bigger. Boom. Okay. So I'm a preterist. I don't believe that the nation state of Israel is necessary for God's prophetic timing. I believe that all of those promises in the Old Testament were fulfilled. Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. I understand that has been classified as a heresy. I get it. I don't care, but I get it. The nation of Israel, God divorces them, ends the covenant with them because they killed his son. Thereby fulfilling all of the promises in Deuteronomy 28 that he would expel them from the land. Even Ezra talks about the fact that he would expel them again if they didn't keep his commands. Well, what's the greatest command? Right? You shall love the Lord your God. Well, God in the flesh came down and the Jews destroyed him. Okay. You don't really, as a nation, you don't really get to come back from that. That's a big deal. So no. And then this is the actual, let's go here. We'll go here and we're going to bring up, let's see, where is it? The memes. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can find that one. Hold on one second. I'm going to look for it. I need to look for it first. Where is it? This is the one. Okay. No, it's not in that list. I keep everything in lists. I'm going to find it. Hold on one second. This one kind of explains why the Jews of 70 AD are not the same as the Jews of 2025. Yeah, this one right here. So what people like to believe is this. This is a misconception, right? Old Testament Judaism, New Testament, modern Judaism. It's a straight line. Okay? Yeah. That New Testament, that's what they believe. That's not, the reality is not that. Old Testament Judaism, New Testament, all right? Accept Jesus, baptism, Christianity. Old Testament Judaism, reject Jesus, Second Temple destroyed. Talmudic Judaism, Zionism, communism, liberalism, feminism, environmentalism, Judeo-Christian, etc. Right? So, yes, Foster, I do read my Bible. Where did he promise to bring them back? Yeah. So, now, yeah. No, I don't get to decide. You're right. I don't get to decide that. I let God do that. I mean, history did it. So, I mean, they're not following Torah. Not that they're not. Yeah. 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 Right? Like, these are not the Jews of the Old Testament. These are not the Jews of Jesus's time. This state in 1948 that was created in 1948 is not populated by Jewish people whom God has called unto himself. Those people would be following the Jewish Messiah, Jesus. I mean, the Bible is very clear and plain that that true Jews, okay. Did I do 2? Chapter 2, yeah. This is actually coming from a Jew of Jews, a Hebrew of Hebrews, as to law, Pharisee, as a zeal, the persecutor of the church, as to righteousness under the law, blameless. That's Paul we're talking about. More Jewish than any person over in Israel right now. He knew his tribe. He was a part of the strictest sect of his religion. More Jewish than anybody that's walking around today. This is what he said. For no one is a Jew who is merely one outwardly, nor is circumcision outward and physical, but a Jew is one inwardly. And circumcision is a matter of the heart, by the Spirit, not by the letter. His praise is not from man, but from God. Yes. Zionism, yes, it's a political ideology masquerading as sound biblical doctrine for the purpose of taking land that doesn't belong to them. Amen. He said it. They're going to have Icy Felix. What's going on? Thank you again for the super chat. Genocide in Gaza has split the Christian world. Do you think this is a sign of Judgment Day, where some Christians will blindly follow the Antichrist? So that's another great question. Now, I'm going to answer this question. It's going to take me a little bit. All right, give me. All right. Okay. Well, let's just do this. We'll do this. We'll do a word search. All right. All right. So these are the only mentions of the Antichrist in the scripture. All right. Okay. Children, it is the last hour, and as you have heard that Antichrist is coming, so now many Antichrists have come. Therefore, we know that it is the last hour, right? Who is the liar? But he who denies that Jesus is the Christ. This is the Antichrist, he who denies the Father and the Son, right? Every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you heard was coming and now is in the world already. John wrote this prior to 70 AD. What you heard was coming and now is in the world already. Unless the man is 2,000 some years old. For many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not confess the coming of Jesus Christ in the flesh. Such a one is a deceiver and the Antichrist. So an Antichrist is any person that does not confess that Jesus Christ is God in the flesh. So there's a problem with the theology there's a problem with the sentence that you're positing, in that the definition of the Antichrist is one who denies Jesus Christ and his spirit, or he himself was coming in the first century. I don't believe that a Christian can follow the Antichrist. If you follow someone who openly denies Christ has come in the flesh blindly, then I think you may not be a Christian, right? So it's weird, because there's futurist presuppositions in everything that people talk about when they discuss prophecy. I am a fulfilled prophecy believer. The more I study preterism, and I'm talking about full preterism, and I know people say it's heresy. I don't care if a council called something heresy that makes sense and is a consistent reading of how first century Christians would have understood prophecies. I'm not interested if a council tells me. Now generally I like to go with historically sound theology, but sometimes you can get things wrong for a long time, and people have been getting the second coming of Christ wrong for a long time, and every generation keeps using these terms incorrectly, like Antichrist. The Antichrist is not some person that we have to worry about coming from Europe or from this place or that place that's going to deceive the entire world and make it impossible for you to buy and sell, and microchips and 666 on your forehead. And I'm like, that's not what the Bible's talking about. That's not what the book of Revelation was talking about. It was basically describing what was going to happen in 70 AD, and it all happened. And so when you understand the Old Testament references of new heavens and new earth, and the marriage supper of the Lamb, and resurrection, and all these other themes that were present in the Old Testament that never meant the things that Christians have poured into them over generations, there's freedom. There's freedom to just walk out Christianity without the fear of the imminent coming of Christ, because it was imminent for them, because he was coming in judgment upon Jerusalem. Just like Yahweh came in judgment on Babylon, Assyria, and the other nations. That Jesus was saying, I'm coming just like the Father came, Yahweh coming on the clouds to judge. When you see the Old Testament links from Zechariah and from Jeremiah and Isaiah and Ezekiel, and you see that Jesus used that language, that John uses that language in Revelation, Jesus uses it in Matthew 23 and 24 and 25. And they're picking up on that. And that's the context that the audience that was listening to him would have understood. You try to understand the things that they would have understood and understand the scriptures from their perspective. And once you stop throwing modern definitions into first century theological ideas, it can be quite freeing. Let me go to Derek Brothers. Now, I do believe, let me ask you a question. So I think the ultimate answer to your question, Icy Felix, is that no, I don't think it's a sign of judgment day, but I do think it's a sign of judgment if Christians won't openly follow the Lord, openly and boldly proclaim the gospel, openly and boldly live for him, unapologetically live for him, and allow the world to dictate how we respond to the genocide in Gaza, to how we even define that. Do we define it as a genocide? Do we seek out the truth? Or do we just believe what the Zionists are telling us? Do we go and find alternative sources, people who are on the ground, like the Tucker Carlson interview with, I forget the guy's name, but I listened to both of them. He had him in studio, and then one time he had him virtually. A man who was on the ground. Or do we believe Beebe? Do we believe Huckabee? Do we believe Johnson? Do we believe Charlie Kirk, Ted Cruz, all the Zionists who are compromised? Well, Brother Derek Franklin, the fact that Zionism has taken such a hold on Christianity is proof that most professed Christians do not study their Bible. Come on, brother. Let me do this. X.com/ I'm going to do this, okay? Because this is what I've been doing, brother. I'm going to show you on my page, right? On my... Oh, boy. What's that? Am I live still? I don't know. Did I lose? No, it says I'm still live. There it is. Okay. All right, so look at this. Democrats trying to protect their district. Republicans leaving D.C. to protest the Epstein files. Every time, so this is my meme, right? So every time I post this meme or this GIF, every time I post it, it's responding to another person that AIPAC has endorsed. Fedora Chak. All right, we welcome. I'm just writing them in my book. I'm just writing them in there. Right? I'm just writing them in there. Like, these are the people that we need to mark and avoid. All right. Let's see. Here's another one. Yeah, like we were going to talk about that, right? We're going to talk about this too. But this is another one, right? I'm just writing them in my book. There it is. Marco Rubio. Right there. All right. We're going to do this. Where's another one? There it is. Right there. Another one. There's another one. AIPAC. Craig Goldman. All right. Got you, fam. We're writing you. You're in the book. Okay. So whenever I see AIPAC pulling up, where's another? I think I had another one in there. I didn't write that, but look, I got him in there. Yeah. Every time I see one of them, okay, we're just gonna write y'all in the book. We're just gonna mark. But I mentioned this yesterday, that we need another statement, like a Chicago statement or a Nashville statement, where we divorce ourselves from Zionists. Somebody needs to write that statement up. Say, look, we're going to separate ourselves. We're going this way, Zionists. We're going to be over here. Y'all can go ahead and worship Israel. That's cool. But we're going to mark y'all and avoid y'all. Now, here's the thing. Zionism is so widespread in American evangelical culture. It is the air that most Christians breathe. Anybody over 50 that grew up in a Christian church, specifically Baptist or any of the non-denominational churches, is most likely a Zionist. I can't tell you how many times I just had to sit and bite my tongue while people in their 60s and 70s start talking about eschatology and the last days and the last things, and they are making all kind of biblical errors and just assuming Antichrist and the man of lawlessness are the same person. And I'm like, that you just believe that? Like, the man of lawlessness is never equated to the Antichrist. In 2 Thessalonians, let no one deceive you in any way, for that day will not come unless the rebellion comes first and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself against every so-called God or object of worship, so that, and this is verses 3 and 4, he takes his seat in the temple claiming to be God. Now, this is the problem with that. So he takes his seat in the temple. Do you not remember that when I was still with you, I told you these things, and you know what is restraining him now? This was written in the 50s. So that he may not be revealed in this time, for the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Already at work. Well, in the 50s AD. Well, already at work. Only he who now restrains it will do so until he is out of the way. And then the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord Jesus will kill with the breath of his mouth and bring to nothing by the appearance of his coming. Destroying Jerusalem. There was this guy There was this guy. 666. There was this guy. This guy here. And look, when he died, Jesus moved him out of the way. Oh, the man of lawlessness. Oh, boy. It all fits. Oh, man. Wow. History in the Bible. I would commend this book to you too. This is Josephus's works. Flavius Josephus. It's another really good book to read. May not read the whole thing. The beginning of his Antiquities of the Jews actually reads like an Old Testament book at the beginning. Right? But that seems this really nice. And the lawless one will be revealed. And it's right now. This is imminent. Everybody can recognize this with any semblance of reading comprehension, can understand that the apostles believed that Jesus would return within their lifetime, their generation. You have to make mincemeat of the text to push it out 2,000 plus years. You have to make mincemeat of it. You have to chop it up into little bitty pieces and throw this piece over here and hope it sticks and try to put this piece next to this piece and do magic math. But if you just sat back as a observer from the first century and said, what do you think Jesus meant to me as a first century Jew or a resident of Jerusalem in Matthew 24 when he says, well, hey, flee. What will be the sign of your coming? After he tells them he's going to destroy the temple, they start asking questions. When is this going to happen? And he answers those exact questions. He doesn't answer that question and then possibly a 2,000 year later question, because they didn't care about that. And the Bible never says that they were mistaken. See, the Bible always tells us when the apostles are mistaken. So we can't assume that they are, right? Yeah. Yeah. He says, I'm drowning in my own mind. That's a flat out lie. What was a flat out lie? Drowning in my own mind. Right? When you're very steeped in futurism, the stuff that I'm saying sounds insane. But you should probably study preterism. Yeah. Might bring you some peace of mind to see that the word of God in the Old Testament predicted what happened in the New. And it's amazing to see the harmony and that Jesus fulfills everything that the Father called for him to fulfill. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Right? This was not at all what I was planning on talking about tonight. Not at all. Yeah. Not at all. Yeah. I know. Let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah. Let me see something. Okay. We're going to go through this. All right? We're going to go through this. All right? Yes. Yes. We're going to do this. Let's talk about some of this stuff that we haven't. Hey, I know it keeps doing tertiary. And now this is the secondary display. And I don't want to pull the displays out. So I'm just going to have to do this. I'll send you some links, right? I'll send you some links to start following the argument that the new heavens and the new earth, how Jews defined it and what they would have understood by it, it's not what we understand. It's not what we've been taught to understand by it. Yeah. But I'll send you some links to some things that I've been reading and studying, and it's way too much to answer. That's a question that's full of discussions about what's the meaning of resurrection, what's the meaning of the marriage supper of the Lamb, what's the meaning of the parousia, what's the meaning. It's just so many terms that need to be defined before, biblically speaking and culturally speaking, because the context that we live in is so, the Hebraic mind and the Greek, the mind that our Western Greek minds don't really think in the same categories. And so I'm still studying it, but the harmonious nature of the fulfillment from Old Testament to, I've been a partial preterist for years, and now I'm specifically studying why 20, 21, and 22. Why is that the bridge to heresy? So people will say, well, you could be a partial preterist and be under orthodoxy, but if you believe 20, 21, and 22 of Revelation were fulfilled in 70 AD, you're a heretic. All right, so I'm like, well, why? Give me a reason. Don't just say it's because it disagrees with the councils and the creeds from the past. That's not good enough for me. For me, I need to understand what causes it to be a damnable doctrine that does not follow sound hermeneutical principles, context, audience, genre, explanatory, and didactic, right? And there have been people who have believed in the past in fulfillment theology. This is not new. I'm not making this up. I'm not smart enough to make it up. I'm studying men who've believed it in the past, and they're making sense to me. So I'm going to go where the scriptures lead, and I've always done that. And I'm not going to stop just because someone says that's heresy. The reason why I believe in the Trinity is because I can prove it from the scriptures. The reason why I believe that Jesus is both divine and human is because I can believe it. I can pull it from the scriptures. It isn't because some council said so. It isn't because some people have held it for 2,000 years. I mean, that's a bonus. But if I need to believe it, I have to reason through it. I have to do this in order for me to get to the point where I'm going to say this is what I believe. I have to go through it, and I have to define, okay, what are the terms? How are we defining new heavens and new earth? How are we defining parousia? How are we defining coming on the clouds? How are we defining second coming? What are we doing? What are the terms? Okay. Can I find true premises? If I find if any theology makes Jesus a liar, I reject it immediately. That's one of the reasons why I've rejected dispensationalism. That's why I reject the interpretation of Matthew 24 that doesn't have Jesus coming in 70 AD and that he splits it off into. I reject that because it makes him a false prophet. And I'm not going to accept any twisting of scripture to try to make that not the case. Anybody with plain understanding that reads Matthew 24 will believe that Jesus was answering specific questions about the destruction of the temple and his coming to do that thing. So, okay, if someone says that that's not what that is, and they say Jesus is late, Jesus ain't coming because he's a false prophet, and he said this, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then that position that holds that, I'm like, that can't be the right position if we believe that Jesus never lied. And then it has to be consistent all the way through. Clear terms, true premises, valid logic. I do that when I'm listening to sermons, when I'm listening to debates, when I'm listening to whatever, because I'm just trained. I've trained myself over years and years and years to do that very thing. And so what I'm doing with preterism now is people said it's heresy. Okay, I stayed away from it because I was like, well, okay, if this is heresy, then I'm going to trust. But now I'm going to study it. I have the time. I want to know. I'm going to study it. So preterism, I was already a partial preterist because it was clear to me as day that Revelation and Matthew 24 are talking about the same events that happened in AD 70. Okay. Now, 20, 21, and 22, the new heavens and the new earth and the new Jerusalem coming down and all these other things. I needed to figure out what that was. And I'm doing a study on it now. And the people that I'm studying, they're making convincing claims. I haven't been able to find unclear terms. I haven't found false premises, and I haven't found invalid logic in their argumentations. And I'm watching them debate people who disagree. And the people who disagree can't debunk their arguments. All they do is they resort to calling them heretics. If you theologically as a Christian, if you can't debunk somebody's argument and all you can do is call them a heretic, then I can't take you seriously, because you're doing the same thing that the left does, calling names, ad hominem, not dealing with the arguments, straw manning the arguments. Okay, you have to prove that the arguments are incorrect. So that's where I am right now, Brother Caleb. I'll send you some stuff if you want to take a look at it. Yeah. Right. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. It seems like some people are. Yeah. I mean, look, Brother Derek Franklin, I wasn't planning on. I was like, well, I got to study it now. I got to study it. If y'all want to do, right, that's coming on the clouds, Caleb. You gotta study what coming on the clouds means. You gotta study coming. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I'm gonna send you something. You have to understand what coming on the clouds meant. It's in the Old Testament what coming on the clouds actually meant, and once you, I mean, it's crazy to me, man. Like, I believe the same thing. Oh, he's coming exactly like that, bodily on the corporeal. No, they're saying he's leaving on the clouds. He's coming back on the. Get the imagery. Remember what he told you. That's why they asked the question, will you now restore the kingdom to Israel? They were even expecting he's going to. Like, I mean, well, it's just, whoo, boy. Yeah. There's a lot of really. I'm gonna send y'all some links. Here's, like, I would say, this is one guy. This is another one. This is another. What's it? You'll find that guy. Obviously, I mean, I don't know if Gary is a fool, but I know he was studying it. But you find those, you go listen to those guys and see if I'm listening to all of their arguments, watching debates. This is what I've been doing for years on how I come to many of my positions. I read their books. I listen to their debates first, see if I listen to their arguments online, and then I get their books and I read them. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Preston and Hovind. You should watch DeMar and Hovind. Yeah, preterists have been demolishing futurism like for quite some time now, but they're just not well known. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, those are some people that you should listen to. I'm not going to expound, like turn this into a preterism channel or preterism live. But it makes a lot of sense. Let me see. I got 30 minutes. So we're gonna do a rapid fire on some things. All right. Let's do this. Since we're talking about, I put this up here a while back. Let's do this. We're gonna do this. Some stuff that we talked about. Where is it? Yes, Epstein. Yeah. All right. So Israel's leaking Trump secrets, y'all. All right. Because he doesn't, yeah. Look at this. Trump and his administration criticized Netanyahu and Israel for a long time. The files had they're using Epstein as a bludgeon. For a long time, the files had subsided in the background. They weren't considered to be much of a threat to Trump. But all of a sudden, right after he started up with Israel, the files surfaced and they seemed to be overwhelming him. Trump blasted Bibi after shrapnel hit a church in Gaza. The church is in a war zone. It was not targeted. Rather, shrapnel from a nearby explosion hit it. Still, Trump berated Bibi and demanded that he publicly express regret. They don't play that, though. Y'all don't mess around. They don't mess around because they got something on everybody. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay, so Huckabee also chimed in, blasting Israel withholding visas from evangelical groups. What's going on, pro what? How you doing? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's happening? All right. It seems that Israel wants to first ensure that the groups don't plan to missionize. They don't want y'all coming in here preaching the gospel, but Huckabee seems insensitive to Israel's concerns. Trump decided to bomb Iran's nuclear sites, and that's commendable, right? So then that's where it comes through. Now, they don't want your Christ, right? Exactly. That's it right there. With friends like enemies, well, friends like Israel, who needs enemies? They don't want you talking about Jesus in Israel. Now, Trump has surrounded himself with Zionists. Okay? And he's put himself in a very awkward position because he's got to keep talking about this. They've got something on him because he's doing a lot of things that he said he wouldn't do.
I just a very highly thought of person, respected by everybody. And I didn't talk to him about it, but I will tell you that whatever he asked would be totally appropriate, and it's not an uncommon thing to do that. And I think he probably wants to make sure that, people that should not be involved or aren't involved are not hurt by something that would be very, very unfortunate, very unfair to a lot of people. But I will say this, Todd Blanche is one of the most highly respected people you'll ever meet. So I know this. I didn't discuss it with him, but anything he talked about with her or the fact that he did that, not unusual, number one, and most importantly is something that would be totally above board.
Right. So this is he's discussing the move of Ghislaine Maxwell to a minimum security resort, essentially. Minimum security resort because she was willing to openly testify that Trump was not, that she didn't see Trump doing anything illegal. She didn't have him in her sights doing anything wrong. And so she gets moved to a nice cushy, resort where people just kind of get to walk around and with their iPads and iPods and earbuds and, Club Med, right? So these people, this is a stage and we're all watching as they act as though we're fools because we don't believe any of this. I don't believe any of it. I have no idea how deep Trump's hands go into the Epstein thing, but I also know that he's covering something up. I'm unwilling to give him any benefit of the doubt on this because it's so clear that this is a cover-up, right? And then he starts speaking with his chest once Ghislaine exonerates him.
Vice President Vance hosting a gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation.
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
I saw it reported today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit. Okay? Yeah, please.
A new Gallup poll said.
Vice President Vance hosting a
Right
gathering
now,
this evening.
Again, this is not made up. That's the thing. We're not falling for that. This is not a made up case. There are witnesses and victims, and we have Dershowitz saying there's a list, and then Dershowitz saying there isn't a list, and Maxwell saying that she's willing to testify now, and then being moved to minimum security prison, and minutes missing off of the video feed, and just too much of this doesn't make any sense. And so we're not going to just close our eyes and say, well, you know what, guys? Okay, we'll let you get away with this one, as long as you bring down the price of eggs. No, because the connections to AIPAC, to Mossad, to everything else stinks to high heaven, and we believe that we are a compromised nation. That's what this boils down to. We want justice, and we want to not be Israel's slave. That's what we want. Now, you can talk strong with your chest and all these other things, but at some point, we want to hear the truth about Jeffrey Epstein and his connections to Mossad. We've already had Ari Ben Manash say that, yes, he was working with us. A former Mossad agent. Oh, Ghislaine Maxwell's sister, Isabel Maxwell, is on the World Economic Forum. Like, it's a big club, guys. That's what everybody says. It's a big club. Everybody's invited except us. This was breaking news. Alex Jones broke it. This was a few days ago, but still, I mean, I haven't done it.
Just in, Trump states that he did not know that Ghislaine Maxwell was removed to club-fed minimum security prison at all. He defended the action, but said he was unaware of the move. How much does he know? He's also said that he doesn't know about any of these grand juries now finally convened on the Russiagate hoax coup. So here's this clip. I want you to, in closing, respond to this.
Questions for you. One, were you aware?
Yeah, no, that's the interview, but that was Alex Jones breaking it. So I mean, I save all of this stuff because I'm going to go back and keep looking at it. And right, this is the report that Ghislaine Maxwell says that she told the DOJ that she never witnessed Donald Trump engage in any concerning behavior, per ABC News. Yeah, because you're not omniscient. Now, she could be telling the truth. That doesn't mean that he didn't do it. That doesn't mean he didn't do anything wrong. But whether he did something wrong or not, the issue is that this is a cover-up of a PDF file ring that has its tentacles in almost every nation we can think of, every powerful nation that we can think of, the World Economic Forum, who knows how deep this rabbit hole goes. And we voted for Trump with the understanding that he was going to expose them. And now his tune has changed. And we recognize that. See, Pepperidge Farm remembers. We remember. And that's the issue. So, if he's implicated, that's bad. If he did some horrible PDF file things, that's bad. But the cover-up's bad. Even if he didn't do anything, the cover-up is still bad. Because ultimately, all the work that he's trying to do will be undone by the next PDF file that gets into power. So, I don't understand why we can't just, why we can't just have the list. Why can't we have this was one big deal. Everybody made a big deal about this one. Now this is, let's here we go. People have made this into Hold on one second. Here we go.
Is how many gifts you have and how would I provide to be applied attendance?
I think she's hired. I mean, yeah, hired. You know, I had a case. It was very interesting. A beautiful girl who was 17 or 18 applied to be a waitress. She's so beautiful. She's like a world-class beauty. Like the young lady who just asked the question about the actress. She's so beautiful. And my people came, she said, "Well, Mr. Trump, she has no experience." So I interviewed her anyway, because she was so pretty. And I said, "Let me ask you, do you have any experience?" She goes, "No, sir." I said, "When can you start?" You can work at my plant anytime. Yeah. See, now, she worked in my plant. That's like a death wish for me, right? That's like an alcoholic. I have many friends. They're wonderful people. They're alcoholics. You put scotch in front of them. It's like, this would be my form of alcoholism. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Now, this is the tweet that goes along with this video, and I want to see if y'all catch it, okay? Unearthed video of Donald Trump admitting addiction to sleeping with teenagers. Trump alludes to hiring teenage girls so he can seduce them. My form of alcoholism. I have no words. Where in that video did he admit to an addiction to sleeping with teenagers? I'm asking, because I heard him say that when beautiful women are around, young beautiful women are around, he's like, "Oh, that's a death wish for me." But I don't remember him saying that he has an addiction to sleeping with them. I didn't hear that part. I'm just saying. But now the sharks are circling. Because of his fumble with this cover up, the sharks are circling. So now people, they're unearthing everything. And some of us are doing it because we have good intentions. We want to see justice served. Some of them are just TDS sufferers who want to take an opportunity to bring him down. Okay? So that's where the difference comes in that, are these leftists really interested in justice? Because we've been calling for Epstein for information for years and years and years. But they're now jumping on the gravy train because they see it as an opportunity to take Trump down. Yeah, you don't need to make right. He's done enough stuff for us to criticize him about. You don't have to make up stuff. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah, Heather, that's exactly what we were saying. Yeah, we didn't need him to be diplomatic. We wanted to save the country. Sometimes there are men who are definitely gifted with the ability to cut to the chase, get things done. And you need men in that vein, right? When things get really bad, this is one of the reasons why the evangelical churches and a lot of evangelical churches have problems, because we don't have enough men like that. We have too many men who want to, right, straddle the fence, make everybody happy, people please. But the church is in a position where people don't even know how to practice Christianity, and giving them a false sense of assurance when they don't know Christ and their lives don't line up with his word, then you need someone to come in with and say it. Hey, you're in sin. Your leaven is leavening this lump. We need you to get it together. or as an elder board, we're going to bring you before the church, and we're going to tell everyone that we are disfellowshipping you. Now, you can go and find another church down the street that will take you, where you and your 3-year fornicating relationship, shouldn't have gotten that long, but 3+ years fornicating relationship, you can go and have it down there. That's fine. But in this house, we serve the Lord. Same thing Trump did. We need preachers like that, where he was able, oh no, y'all are deep state. We sick of y'all. That's what we need. So we needed it. We voted for it. Well, I didn't vote for him the first time. 2016. I can't take credit for that. But we need more men like that to stand up in this climate. And we don't have enough of them. And that's why we're in the position we're in. Yeah. That's why we're in the position we're in. Yeah. Man, I do not want Zionist Marco Rubio Yeah. Yeah, but I know. Yeah, it's just, like I said it earlier today. So many, what's going on doing work? What's happening? Yeah. Right. I know. When he was a registered Democrat, giving Jesse stuff. Yeah, they loved him. Rapped about him in songs. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, leftists are interested in power, not justice, right? They sell all of us down the proverbial river to stay in power. And they have. The black community, they sold us down the river a long time ago, brother. Long time ago. Right. A long time ago, right? This is like what Kamala said.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
No. All right. So let's do this. We're going to do some. We're going to, let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Let's talk about, let's do this. We're going to go to this set. I got to change they all went to the wrong monitor because my monitor I have multiple external displays. All right, so we're going to talk about some leftist lunacy. But we're going to specifically talk about this in the context of old Zoran Mamdani. All right, now Zoran and Jasmine. We're going to bring Jasmine in too before we go to bed. Okay, so update. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says she is considering deporting communist New York City mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani. Do it. Get Fateh, Ilhan Omar, Maria Salazar. Who else? Get them. Just get a line. Bring a line. Got a line of them. Anybody in here on some kind of protected temporary status that overstayed, and now we got their descendants. Get them and their descendants out. Get them out of government and out of the country. Right? What's the right? Because some American could be in that position that loves America, and they took our jobs. They took our jobs. They took our jobs. Right? They took their jobs. Right? Some American politician who was America first. Zoran Mamdani, New York is a leftist. But anyway, they took their jobs, right? Right. But this, he says, man, look, his administration. Look what he said about his administration. He said,
my administration would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare, and you don't need to take me at my word. Or take Andrew Cuomo at his. You need to only look at the actions of the Trump administration since I won the Democratic primary. My administration.
Oh yeah, he talking tough. Talking tough. Deport him. Right? What's the meme that I use for that one? Here it is. Right? Oh, Cary Grant. Get out. Right, get out. Deport him. Omar Fateh right there. Deport old Omar. You don't need to be here either. These people don't believe in America. They don't believe in America. So why should they be here? Why should they be governing us? Why should Omar Fateh be given the executive, the highest? Why should he even be allowed to run for the highest executive position in Minnesota or in Minneapolis? Why? That shouldn't be possible. We should make it so that's not possible, right? No problem, Heather. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. You said, thank you for getting on here and speaking truth. We need more people to speak out and show the people the truth. Look at this. Watch this. No, it's actually not the American way. It's not. It's not. That's not the way America was founded. Oh, we've lost what America was founded. Watch this. Interesting. Here we go. La, da, 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 da. Let me find that chapter. Where is it? Right here. Yes. Page 65. 65. I read this quite often. Okay. Delaware, 1776. It's from this book. I'm reading it. The Delaware Constitution established the Christian religion while not elevating, quote, one religious sect, end quote, in the quote, state in preference to another, end quote. A jurisdictional separation between church and state was maintained by prohibiting a clergyman or preacher of the gospel of any denomination from holding any civil office in the state while they continue in the exercise of the pastoral function. So pastors of specific churches couldn't hold civic office. But listen to this. Continue on. You may not like this, but this is directly from the Delaware Constitution in 1776, and they're not the only ones. You can say it's a joke, but you don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's keep going. Delaware did not require its office holders to subscribe to certain theological tenets. However, Article 22. Keep listening. Let's listen. Let's listen. Let's listen. He said it's not American. See, but we're talking about what America was founded to be, not what they changed it to be today. See, that's where you're wrong. See, you're wrong. You're wrong. Now you want to change the goalposts. Oh. Every person who shall be chosen a member of either house or appointed to any office or place of trust shall also make and subscribe to the following declaration, to wit, quote, I, underscore, or undersigned, do profess faith in God the Father, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, and in the Holy Ghost, one God, blessed forevermore. And I do acknowledge the Holy Scriptures of the Old and New Testament to be given by divine inspiration. So you can get mad at what we were, but what we were, has been changed. And that's why the Fatehs and the Mamdanis and the like can run, because things have changed. That's not what America was. It was not what it was founded to be. And that's the point. That's what we're trying to tell you all. Okay. You may not want to listen to it. Okay, great. All right. Well, let's see. We got another one. Georgia, 1977. New Jersey, 1776. Maryland, 1776. We're saying that certain changes were good. Oh, yes. There are certain changes that were necessary that made the nation better. This has not been one of them. Letting anti-American ideology into your government, it's not going to be good. When you're electing socialists, when you were founded as a capitalist nation, I mean, these people think they think they know stuff. I know. A democratic socialist, when the nation was founded upon capitalism. You should go take. There's what's the name of the? Oh goodness, is it Hillsdale College? Has a course on the Federalist Papers. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going right back to the original documents. In the state constitutions, and yes, I know those state constitutions also. What's the word? Did fail to prohibit slavery? Okay. But that was changed. That was a good change based on the Christian religion. The basis of their misinterpretation, and you had abolitionists using the scriptures to tell them, no, this is not what y'all Right? Yeah, it's free too. Right? It's free. Exactly, free. Go educate yourself. It's free. I should get them. I should give them let them do me what's it, the discount code, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm reading stuff there. Right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They have nothing to do with today. Yeah, exactly. Because we're in this situation because of all the great thinkers of today. Right? Okay.
We're gonna put you all back in chains.
Stay in mental slavery, sir. All right. Now, let's see. Now, we got this. Migrant mom complains about taxpayer-funded $30,000 housing handouts that she blew through in 30 months. This is some more leftist lunacy. Whoo, boy. Yeah. Right? Now, so look at this. This is another problem. Zoram saying he wants to fund and invest in NYPD, directly contradicting his past statements, calling for a complete defunding of police services.
It is one that also comes from listening to officers themselves. 200 officers are leaving the department every month. A leading cause of their departure is forced overtime. And the fact that every year we ask them to take on additional responsibilities. We are making it more and more difficult for them to respond to the very responsibilities that drew them to the job in the first place. And I think about the 7 major categories of crime as listed in CompStat. That is not the full extent of what we ask officers to do. The NYPD receives 200,000 mental health calls every year. How can they be expected to respond to that and to this? New Yorkers rightfully have concerns around public safety, and I want to empower police officers to respond to serious crime and hire the mental health professionals to respond to mental health calls.
How do you eliminate all this forced overtime?
We know it is one that also...
So, he wanted to defund them. Now he wants to fund them, right? Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. All he wants to do is to get elected. Right? Just like Kamala said she wasn't going to...
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
But when she started losing, guess what? Guess what? Right? Guess what? He said, I want to pull this up just for you. He said, we're the richest country in the world. We're on the earth, dum-dum. Yes, but inflation has robbed our dollar of virtually all of its purchasing power. The more socialist we become, because FDR, whoo boy, the Fed, creation of the Fed, the income tax, yeah, buddy. They like this slavery. They like this slavery.
They're gonna put you all back in chains.
They like this slavery. They don't want the smoke tonight, brother Derek. They don't want the smoke tonight. I'm here for it tonight. Better than any currency on earth. Yeah, look at this. Oh, now I just go here. Look, goalposts. These are goalposts. They love it. Yes, they love it. They love that wage slavery. Can I have another boss? Right, bossa? Can I have another bossa? Right. That's right. Can I have another bossa? All right. True capitalism is the only system that rewards you for doing good to your fellow man. What we have right now is corporatism, which is not capitalism. Capitalism with proper restraints, meaning the protection of private property rights and the like. That's a system that got us to where we are now. We're just living off the greatness of the past. As we try to patch it together, keep it from imploding or exploding. We're imploding. I mean, yeah. Exactly. The Fed is why you have a welfare state. A warfare state, and billions sent in aid to our allies. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame that we were doing things fairly well. We had some very, very Oh, it's 9. All right. It's 9 o'clock where I am. So I gotta leave it there. But I have so much stuff tomorrow. Most likely, I think I'm gonna come back sometime tomorrow. Probably in between. Yeah. Probably midday. But after, well, it'll be around maybe 4. I don't know. If it's not at 3, then it'll be after 7. But I'm going to try to do an episode tomorrow. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. You can support the channel by liking, right? Or you can join the channel. It's just $1, right? $1. Yeah. Oh, you talking to, wait, let's see. So Control Delete. Let me tell you, are absolutely right. I do ignore your statements. Watch, I'm going to tell you why. I'm filtering this, and if I were to completely follow everything that you said, this would be your show. You comment more than anyone else. There's probably a good 30, 40, 50 messages here. I don't know. Let me see. All 405. I can't run a show and keep up with you. I can't. I know, but here's the thing. You can get your own show. YouTube is free. You can set up your own channel. It's pretty cool. It's easy to do. I have a bunch of them. Yeah, I have a bunch of them. So, yeah. I have a bunch of them. And I'm about to start posting to another one of my channels, Evergreen Content. And I may let you all know when that happens. It's on a different topic completely, but you may be interested in it. But if you want to support the channel, links are in the description. I'm going to put them here. Yes. I'm not going to make this show about anyone who doesn't financially support it. Now, if you want to start super chatting, guess what? I don't ignore super chats, but I can ignore non-super chats. Real easy. Yeah, real easy. If you ain't financially supporting, put your money where your mouth is. If you want my show to be about what you talk about, put your money where your mouth is. It's as simple as that, right? I get on here. My time is valuable. I talk about what I want to talk about because it's my channel, right? I'm the dictator of this channel. And until next time, be on the alert, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. See y'all around. Bye.